My wife and daughter abandoned me during my cancer battle. Years later, thinking I was dead, they returned to claim an $8 million inheritance. But things didn't go as planned. Hello, Reddit eyes plus here. I never imagined battling cancer alone. When the diagnosis came, stage 3 lymphoma, my wife Maria and our teenage daughter Chloe promised to stand by me. Yet 3 months into grueling chemo, they left. No explanations, just a note on the kitchen counter. We can't do this anymore, sorry. I remember staring at those words, the chemo fog making it feel surreal. A neighbor helped me through the hardest months, and against all odds, I went into remission. I moved to a quiet town, changed my will, and rebuilt my life. The ache of their betrayal dulled over time, replaced by a quiet resolve to live well. If not for myself, then out of spite. Then came the inheritance. I inherited my grandfather's estate when he passed. A sprawling vineyard and $8 million in assets. The news spread fast, especially after the obituary mistakenly labeled me deceased. I laughed bitterly at the irony. I'd never corrected the obituary. Maybe I wanted to see who'd come crawling. And sure enough, they did. It started with a knock on the door one chilly autumn morning. I opened it to find Maria and Chloe standing there, both dressed like they'd stepped off the pages of a lifestyle magazine. Maria's face was carefully composed, but Chloe wouldn't meet my eyes. "Oh my God, it is you," Maria breathed, a hand clutching her designer purse. We thought you were dead." "Disappointed I'm not?" I asked, leaning against the doorframe. "Of course not," Maria forced a laugh. "We came to pay our respects, and, well, to claim the inheritance," I finished for her. Her silence was all the confirmation I needed. They had no idea I'd rewritten the will. The vineyard and fortune were now left to a charitable trust, and my neighbor, Carla, who'd stuck by me when no one else had. I invited them in, masking my amusement at their attempts to act contrite. Maria gushed about how much they'd missed me. Chloe nodded along, her eyes darting nervously. I played along, feigning interest in their fabricated tales of hardship. I didn't tell them I'd seen photos of their glamorous trips and Chloe's college parties on social media. "So," Maria finally said, shifting in her seat. "About grandfather's estate, what about it?" I asked, sipping my coffee. "Well, since you're alive," she began, her voice sickly sweet, "we figured it's still rightfully yours. But you know, Chloe and I could help manage it." I let the silence stretch, their discomfort growing. Then I smiled. "Oh, I forgot to mention. I rewrote the will." The color drained from Maria's face. Chloe froze mid-sip of her tea. "What?" Maria whispered. "Yes," I said, leaning forward. "The inheritance is going to charity. The vineyard belongs to Carla now. She actually cared when I was dying." Maria's mask slipped, revealing raw anger. "You can't be serious. We're family." "Family doesn't abandon you when you're at your lowest," I said coldly. "You made your choice. Now live with it." Maria exploded into a tirade, accusing me of being vindictive. Chloe sat there, teary-eyed, mumbling apologies, but I wasn't buying it. I handed them the will, highlighting the changes, and watched their reactions. Maria snatched it, reading in disbelief, while Chloe buried her face in her hands. "You'll regret this," Maria spat as she stormed out, dragging Chloe behind her. I thought that was the end of it, but a week later, Maria filed a lawsuit, claiming I'd manipulated my grandfather into changing his will. The court case dragged on, and Maria's lies unraveled under scrutiny. The photos of her luxurious vacations and her complete absence during my illness painted a damning picture. The judge dismissed the case, chastising her for her greed. She left the courtroom defeated, with Chloe trailing behind, looking ashamed. Months later, I got a letter from Chloe. In it, she apologized for abandoning me, admitting she'd let Maria manipulate her. She begged for a chance to reconnect. I sat with the letter for hours, torn between anger and the faint hope of redemption. I decided to meet her. We sat on a bench overlooking the vineyard, and for the first time, she cried, genuinely sorry. I told her it would take time, but I was willing to try. Maria, on the other hand, got nothing. She disappeared from our lives, leaving Chloe and me to rebuild what she had almost destroyed. And as for the $8 million, it's funding cancer research now, a fitting legacy for someone who truly fought to live.